Hello, I'm Sharon. Now today we're going to be having a look at feet and ankles and hands and wrists. Usually very overlooked parts of the body, but incredibly important. They need to be free, they need to be flexible, so we're just going to have a little look at some ways we can perhaps improve on that. A couple of things before we start. First of all, if you have any health concerns, then please, just see how you feel, keep monitoring how you feel, and if at any point you experience any discomfort, then just stop, take a breath. There are hopefully going to be a few different ways that we can work into these areas, so hopefully there'll be something out there for everyone. The second thing is that there will be no soundtrack, just me chatting away, because music is a very, very personal thing. And so I figured if you have a piece of music that you really like, that helps you to relax, to focus, to really sort of concentrate on something, then maybe you could choose that for yourself now and just have it playing in the background as we work. Okay, so first of all we're going to have a little look at the feet. So hopefully maybe you've got one of these things around the house already, nice simple tennis ball. Obviously, if you're going to have to fight the dog to get one, just buy a new one, it's fine. But just with a simple tennis ball, we can begin our work. Now, if you're looking to maybe work on your balance a little bit, maybe work on your leg strength a little bit, then maybe you would like to work with the ball from a standing position. If you're not feeling too steady, you can always put your hand on a wall or on a chair, okay? But this way, obviously, we are working our balance and we are also working our strength in the standing leg. So I just wanted you to be aware that there is a standing option for this footwork. Okay, obviously, when we get to the more like the ankle circles or playing with the toes, then again, if you are against the wall, please just do one foot at a time. Okay, so what I thought I would do is show you a lot of the work on the chair, because there are plenty of us out there who aren't quite so mobile, not quite so happy standing for a long period of time, and everything can be adapted. So that's something that I want you to really bear in mind as we work. There's always another way. So tennis ball is a good place to start. Just getting it underneath the foot and having a lovely little roll about. Obviously not so hard that the ball's likely to fly off across the room, but not so soft that you don't really feel a lot is happening. I do want you to feel that you are massaging into this foot. Lots of ligaments, lots of muscles in this foot, and we want to feel that we are meeting and greeting all of them. Okay? What I have here is a lovely little physio ball, nice and spiky. So perhaps as you get quite used to working with the feet, if you want to move on from a tennis ball, then this is a good place to go, really. I do have a few students who have come to me with plantar fasciitis, and they have had a golf ball suggested to them to work with a golf ball underneath their foot. That's a little extreme perhaps if you've never worked with your feet before. So maybe a tennis ball is a good place to start, and obviously if you don't have plantar fasciitis, we probably don't want to get it. We want to stay mobile, we want to stay free. So working with a tennis ball really is the best place to start. Okay. Once you've had a little play with the ball underneath the foot or feet, then perhaps you could start looking into toes. So we're all quite good at being able to pick up our toes and put them back down again. But perhaps you could begin to challenge yourself. So what if you brought all the toes up and then just put the big toe down? Or maybe you could put all the toes down except the big toe. Okay? Maybe you could put down the big toe and the little toe. Oh, I don't know, maybe you could start to roll all the way through the toes. Who knows? Okay? But playing with the toes, it's important. This big toe, through lots of lovely connections, comes all the way up and makes contact with the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor will directly impact the diaphragm, where we do all our breathing. So it's important to note little things like this, you know, care of this big toe and equally care of this little toe. They make all these connections up, you know, pelvic floor to the diaphragm, our breathing, our posture, little toe up the outside to the hip. So, you know, make these connections, get friendly with the feet, get to know them. While you're here, you could play with perhaps massaging around. You could try walking through a little bit. Thinking about ankles, we could start to think about circling in the ankles. If you feel you could lift the leg, there's a bit of strength work to be had there. Circling away, pointing, flexing. So there's lots of little pumps down in this ankle, and they have to get all the blood, all the lymph, all the way back up and into the chest. So a little bit of pointing and flexing. You can feel the muscles working in the back of the leg there, just helping everything along. So pointing and flexing, lovely circling, and a little bit of playing with the toes. Okay, so whilst we're sat, I thought we'd also have a little look at hands and wrists, okay? Again, you know, we want to be mobile with these hands, and for a lot of us we feel that, well, yes, I am mobile in my hands. But then maybe you sort of start to find it's a little harder to get the top of a jar. Again, I have students who are beginning to face a little bit of arthritis in their fingers. They're finding the strength is going a little bit. So there are ways that we can help to keep these hands nice and free. A little bit of wiggling never goes astray, so we can always have a little bit of wiggling. And if you're going to wiggle, seriously wiggle, you know, get into these fingers, get them moving. That's not really going to cut it. See what you can do, get them moving, okay? You can massage, all right? We tend to rub an area. If it's feeling a little bit sore, we'll tend to rub an area. So get in there, self-massage, get to know your hands. Are there any knobbly bits? Are there any bits that are a little tender when you touch them, when you press them? You know, get to know what's going on in your hands. You can go through into the wrist, you can massage again, you can press a little. All of these things are very useful. A nice little sequence to do with hands. Okay? So we can place the hands together, we can open them up like the pages of a book, then continue that journey. So we get the backs of the hands coming together. They will naturally want to start to go down. We can let that roll around and back they come. You can go the other way. So opening away, backs of the hands together, down, round, press. So toward you, backs of the hands together, down, round, together, then away, down, round and together. And you can start to perhaps make this flow a little bit more. What you'll also notice, I'm sure, is this actually does work up into the shoulders. So this gives us another little handy lesson that no one part of the body is by itself. Okay, it's all just part of a whole. So okay, you're focusing on your hands, you're focusing on your wrists, but it's going on to impact you up into the shoulders. We are going to have a little look at shoulders and neck in another video. So, you know, for now, just be aware this does help into the shoulders, and we'll focus on them a little bit more another time. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come down to the earth and work into these feet a little bit more. If you aren't that comfortable with getting down onto a mat, if that's not really something that you find easy to do, then you could easily just perhaps sit on the side of the bed. If it's got nothing to do with that, if it's more of the fact that you can't really greet your feet and you struggle perhaps to get to the feet and make that connection, then remember there was that work on the chair. So you don't have to miss out footwork. There are different types of footwork for whatever is the most comfortable for you. If you can get to your foot, then yeah, you know, greet the feet. No room for foot fear, just get on in there, have a little rub, And then perhaps, if you're feeling brave, take the opposite hand to the sole of the foot, and then slowly see if you can persuade the fingers to get between the toes. Now that's always an interesting bit. I do tend to find there's quite a lot of grimacing coming up when we do this in class. But again, stay with it, keep working, and over time you should be able to persuade a little bit more. This leaves the thumb free to get into the sole of the foot, and you can massage and press. Remember what I said right back at the beginning? Everything you do, you must be aware of how does this feel. And if it starts to feel a little bit uncomfortable, if it starts to feel that perhaps this isn't quite working for you, then you stop, you take a breath, and you work out, do I just need to perhaps go back and work on the chair? Is today just a day about ankle circles? You know, every day, keep assessing, how do I feel? All right, so we can get those fingers in. This is a really good way to remind the toes where they live on the feet. Otherwise they do tend to try and make a break for the middle over time. You can wiggle the toes individually, and then start to see if you can get a little bit of movement in the rest of the foot. Again, it's not about pulling, it's not about yanking your foot around, it's about gently pressing, connecting, and seeing how things feel. Again, get to know your foot. Alright, so lots of just gentle pressing and manoeuvring. Again, ankles, we can get into these ankles, we can circle, we can do some pointing and flexing. You can even do a little bit of sort of side to side, as if you're waving hello to yourself with your feet. You can roll them in, you can roll them out. So again, just keep them moving, get them moving. They should be free, they should be very free in these feet. The last thing I wanted to show you was a way to get a little bit more strength into these hands and wrists. Again, you know, if you work on a computer a lot, you do tend to hold your wrist in a particular angle. I have students that have got the carpal tunnel syndrome and things. So this is quite a nice way to get into these wrists. I'm going to show you from kneeling, but you would be very welcome to perhaps sit on a chair and face the wall and actually do it against the wall if coming down to the earth isn't really for you. So just very gently, you can just start to put a little bit of weight. And how does it feel? Can you keep the palm of the hand down? Can you keep the heel of the hand down? Little bit of weight on, then take it back off. And then you can just start to do it as if it were a little clock face. So you can just go round and round and round, just easing the weight on and off, little by little. Now, it's unlikely you'll get all the way round the first time you try this. You may not even get all the way round, oh, I don't know, the 10th time you try this. But just keep playing, move the weight, do your best seal impression. Just keep moving, okay, and work it through. And whenever you finish doing that, again, give it a little bit of a rub, say thank you, see how it feels. Get to know your hands, your wrists, your feet, and your ankles. Okay, so hopefully that has given you a few ideas of things to try. We'll revisit a lot of these things as we go on through the videos, okay? And we'll learn how hands and wrists and feet and ankles impact on the rest of the body, and how we can kind of all bring it together, hopefully. So it's all about freedom of movement, as much mobility as is comfortable, and really getting to know our body and how things feel. Okay. So I hope that's been alright for you today, and I really hope that I'll see you again soon. So take care. Thank you.